Hey, welcome to the Easy Does It podcast. Your host, Liska, right here. And we are on episode 8, which means this is the final episode for season 6. And today I want to talk to you about the real reason that social media feels exhausting. And if you're listening to this, I hope that you know that immediately you don't need to be doing anything on social media. I feel like that is, as I'm saying that, you're probably thinking, yeah, like how is that even possible? But the reality is, it's very much about figuring out what you do instead. This is why I created the 1K Lab membership, is because the amount of conversations that I was having with my email community around, well, I really want to ditch social media. Like, I really genuinely don't want to be posting on Instagram. I would love to close my TikTok account. I don't even want to be on Facebook. But there's so much weight in that. But what do I do instead? What does that look like? If I'm not on social media, aren't I now going to be irrelevant? Or I'm going to miss out on subscribers. I'm going to miss out on sales if I'm not posting. And I totally get all of that, because those were all the things that went through my mind when I started questioning my own social media presence in 2022. This is late 2022, about October 2022. So the reality is, the reason why social media feels exhausting, I think, is two-pronged. One, you're doing so much content generation. So you feel like you're busy, because you are. I'm generally recognizing that you are busy producing all this content, spending all this time creating all the beautiful carousels, outlining videos and all of those things. I don't deny that you're not putting in the effort. However, are you getting the return on that effort? And that's the number one reason why social media feels exhausting, is because we're doing and not getting the result. Now, there is a layer of you needing to put in some time before you see results, right? There is like a compounding effect. But that shouldn't be 6 months, right? I've had people who have said to me, I've been posting consistently and I've been doing this and I've been doing this and nothing. And when they say nothing, what they really mean is, I'm not making the money that I want to be making, and I'm not getting the engagement that I want to be getting, and I'm not getting people joining my email list, right? Things are still happening, right? Some people are joining their email list, them maybe making a few sales here and there, but not the results that they've been led to believe they should be making, doing all the things that they're doing. And that has been my biggest bugbear with social media, and why I don't do social media. And I'm using air quotes when I say that, because I still have social media presence, right? You still need to have a presence from a business perspective. People still want to know that you actually are doing the things that you're doing. My social media presence now is very passive, right? Blog posts are automated to my Facebook profile or my Facebook page. My Instagram profile is static. I don't post on there at all. It's literally static. It's a 9-grid static profile, and that's it. I very rarely go and look at it. I have a private Instagram account, but that's for friends and family only, and that's to document my travels. That's it. And truthfully, honestly, they're lucky if I post on there once a week. I'm really bad, right? Because I personally don't want to be spending time on those platforms anyway. I think that's the second part of that two-pronged reason that social media feels exhausting, is that if you are on those platforms as a user, often the stuff that you're seeing is not conducive to positivity. We don't get to curate our feeds anymore, right? Facebook took that away. Instagram took that away. I actually really enjoyed Facebook and Instagram when my feed was based on the time that someone posted. So I could literally go back through on any given day, and I could see friends had posted things, or someone had shared something, or a business had updated this, and it was in real time. And that's when I felt social media was relevant. Now it's more about who's paying to be visible in your feed and who is getting the most like engagement, because apparently that's a sign now that, you're relevant. Again, I'm saying that I'm being very sarcastic because I just don't agree with it. Now, as I'm saying all of this, if social media is something you still want to be doing, that's absolutely fine. But what I want you to really sit with and understand is that you don't need to do it if you don't want to. And here's why. You can do other things, right? If we go back to what I was saying, at the beginning, why people want to ditch social media, but they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do instead. I'm worried about being irrelevant. I'm worried about missing out and all of those things. This is why you don't just quit social media cold turkey. You definitely want to make sure you've built up assets. And what I mean by that is owned assets. So that is like building a community that you own, preferably on your own email platform. But you could do that on platforms like Patreon or Substack, right? There are platforms that allow you to capture emails and actually have access to those emails, like not like Facebook and Instagram and the other social media platforms where someone might, sign up and join your Facebook group, but you don't see their email address. The third party tool, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, owns that data. You don't. Whereas platforms like Patreon and Substack and Medium, you get to see that information. So you can actually export out people who are connected to you and following you and stuff like that. But community, right? First and foremost, community. And then you also want to create assets on other platforms. So a blog, a podcast, a video platform, whatever that looks like. And I'm not saying YouTube because there are other options for video. It's not just YouTube now. And I really do think you have to think through, where is my audience and what do I enjoy doing? And know that you don't have to do any of it, right? If you generally just enjoy writing, then Substack would definitely be where I would steer you towards, and Medium, right? Those are both really good platforms. At the end of the day, it's about having owned assets where you're sharing content, but you're not having to do anything. And you need probably a solid 3 to 6 months of consistently doing things in that way to build up those assets before you can switch your social media to passive and versus active. And the difference is simply that you go from posting, all the time and interacting on social media to passively being there. And that is having a static Instagram profile, having automated blog posts going to your Facebook page. TikTok is a little bit different. You can't really automate that. So if TikTok is where you enjoy being and you want to still be there, you can still be there. But now it's going to be a different lens. Now you can be like, okay, well, I don't need to be going on there every single day because I have these other assets in place. And you can also repurpose that content, right? You can repurpose any of your social media content to go on any of those platforms that I'm just talking about. So it's very much about shifting your mindset, getting a plan in place. If you genuinely want to be off social media and you don't want to feel the things that you're feeling and worrying about, right? You're not going to quit cold turkey. You're going to transition. And if you want help with transitioning off all of those things and building up the assets, then the 1K Lab membership is a really good place for you to do that. And you can learn more about that at hustleandgroove.com/the 1K Lab. Now, as I said, this is the last episode for season 6, and I'm going to see you back in a couple of weeks. We will have season 7, and I'm super excited for that season because we are going to be talking about a couple of different things. We're still going to be talking about very similar themes, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into you strategically taking action, right? I really want the podcast to be action orientated. But if you have anything you want me to specifically talk about, feel free to leave that in the comments below. You can shoot an email, lise@hustleandgroove.com. Otherwise, I will catch you in season 7.